name is Chris Quinlan and welcome to Musos Live, Melbourne Musos Live. I've been doing a couple of different things over the last couple of episodes, doing a few different ideas, and I got to starting to think. You can hear the ticking from here. Thank you. That I was a child of my time, that I've said quite a few times. When I was coming up, my old teacher H used to get me to do the hi-hat like that all the time. 2 and 4. Practice pad, stick control, all these things. Now, they're all fantastic, but what do you do with them? Okay, so what happens is tonight's show, I've been, like I said, I've been doing a couple of things over the last few episodes, one of which was gamelan. There's a little bit of a study into gamelan and things. And it's just wonderful stuff. And one of the things that sort of gets me going is the melody. Melody keeps me going, you see. It's one of the reasons why you get an angle. You got to have an angle. And you might have something like a single stroke roll. Fine. That's just plain, straight ahead, but what is it? What is it going to be? What are you going to make of it? So I've been talking about things like Alexander technique, where you might be doing a single stroke roll, but over like this. The play. I've done that one. Now, when I'm talking about things like melody, I can also talk about sounds, you see. And one of the things about dear old Doris here is that she's been pretty much in this kind of state since I got them in 2002 from one Paul Mosom, who remembers him. Mwah! There you go, he's still around. And time for a beer, mate. Anyway, but once I put the piccolo toms there and started no, have a listen to all that stuff. There you go. What happens is I had to come up with certain skills. Well, how am I going to use them? They're over on my left-hand side, so there's a left-hand lead over there, isn't there? And one of the things that doing things like being a little bit introspective, making this show, and trying to come up with something relatively new every week, a new episode of some kind, I have to come up with different ideas. I'll play around a little bit and maybe say, well, what can I do with a single stroke roll? So I could do that. And then with the triggers, which came along around about 2009, 2010, with that kind of technology, I could start doing all of a sudden, this single stroke roll that can last 10 seconds on a practice pad, oh, now I go off and eat, whatever, starts to become something as you move around the drums. Now, if you're right-handed, of course the right hand will be dominant. But when I got the piccolos, all of a sudden the left hand had to say, hello, I'm over here, mate, that kind of thing. So what happens is when I'm saying something like melody keeps me going, I start to do different things. The triggers, I sit down, I could make them a violin or I could make it a harp or whatever, but then you start to get melodic with everything. Tonight I've got the European kit on, so I've got whistles, whistling in the wind. Get the hi-hat going for a bit of air. Come on, get a bit of air. That's a bit better. Hello there, wake up. Single stroke roll. Rock beat. Double stroke. Suddenly I've got something happening. Boom, boom. Sorry. No, I won't do it. So there you go, you see, being melodic, you see. Now that was fairly much, if I'm going to break it down, the right hand was creating melodic material with the tom-toms, and the left hand was putting in a little bit of colour. And I could do it like this. You can, man's guts to know his limitations. Marley! So what you've got is this. You might have that. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. How professional. I'll slow it down a bit. There's a single stroke roll. It's colour with the left hand. Around. Then you could do different things here, you see, and that's all of a sudden your left hand coming in. And what happens is, while you're working to your strengths, don't forget, keep working on your weaknesses, you know. It'll be interesting how it comes around, because you get asked to do something. You could join a band, you see, and they'll ask you to do something like, I love that cymbal there. Can you put that in when I hit this guitar chord? Ooh, like that. How are you going to do it? You've got to figure out a problem. Okay, you know. Figure it out. Did you hear about the constipated mathematician? He worked it out with a pencil. Oh my Lord, there you go. What are you going to do? How are you going to hit that china over there? You could think outside the square. You could just grab the china cymbal and put it there and go or whatever. Or there's something already there. Someone's already booked the spot. Hello, cymbals. So you could go paradiddle. Do you see? There you go. You figured it out. All of a sudden, target practice. Where can you put in these double stroke rolls? What can you do with them? I call these little things waves. Everyone has their licks, I suppose. That's one of mine. Is that when I'm getting the basic single stroke roll going, there's the flow. There's the double stroke. Double stroke rolls aren't always just rudimental, although that's where you learn them, all that is. And what you've got then is a way of getting around the kit doing kind of waves and these kinds of effects, you see, that comes around. and it becomes part of your style, you see. And while you're working to your strengths, you know, if you're right-handed or for that matter left-handed, you can go into building that strength up. You can start to do things like, while you're doing that, freeing up a limb to doing different things. Now, when I say I'm a child of my time, with dear old Harold getting me to work crazy with the hi-hat in all its different places, it started, you know, if I'm going to do something like... melodic. You're doing different things, so instead of it just being it could be and there you have it. Frees up a limb, you see. What the hell was that? Might take that out. See, frees up a limb. One of the little interesting things about freeing up limbs and man's guts to know his limitations and stuff was Peter Gabriel in the early 80s, where he wanted a very tribal sound with his drums on the albums with Shock the Monkey and Hans plays with Lottie plays with Games Without Frontiers and Intruder with Phil Collins and the gated drum sound coming up. Oh, wonderful stuff. But he told his drummers don't use any cymbals. So all of a sudden, what are you going to do? You could have this, and of course that's the linchpin, as they say. Everything, you know, your bass drum and snare drum comes in after. What happens if you take it away? So now I don't doubt that a lot of drummers would be just tapping their lap. That kind of thing. So sometimes what happens is that a simple request from the producer or from the leader of the band or the composer of the band will say, can you do this? Can you hit that cymbal when I hit this chord? And you're going, right, I'll try, you know, that kind of thing. So what you have is something that Gary Chester, the very famous teacher to the stars and one of the session kings of the 60s and 70s with his book New Breed and stuff like that, called it territories. That's why I'm flapping around here. There's your right territory, there's your left territory, and you want to keep it all nice and even. So build up the strength in your left hand, you see. How many times do we see a footy player get into trouble because they're trying to turn around onto their good foot, trying to kick a goal, whereas if they just did snap, left foot snap, bang, goal, you know, instead of trying to turn around, duck and weave and get tackled and there you go. So what happens is you want to try and to be as even-handed as you can, knowing that you do have a dominant hand, like you're right-handed or left-handed or whatever it might be. And one of the things that happens, if I'm going to keep coming back to the single stroke roll here, what can start to happen is whilst you're trying to keep that even, you can start to go down the track of mixed sticking, a la paradiddles and things like that. And as part one, you try and keep it as even as you can. Single stroke. And then I'm mixing things up, starting to work layers. Peter Gabriel kind of idea. And now I'm doing something fairly straightforward in the instruction, is put the bass drum in with your right hand. So, you know. And I'm making the hi-hat fairly independent. Okay, so there it is. It's not just straight up 2 and 4 or 4/4. I'm giving colours, splashing, chicking. Is that even a word? Got it.
Got it. Good.
Good. There it is there. There you go. So what happens is, what's starting off, say, on a practice pad, working through stick control, mixing up the sticking a bit, all of a sudden move it to a different surface and bang, you're off, you know. And then you start to bring in the feet as for nuance. You can see that. Get it? Oi! And that's when I get into this business here, in the sense that you can start to have just 2 surfaces, which is fine. Then you can start to mix your surfaces. So coming back all the way to the piccolos, which I talked about before. And what goes on there? I'm working with that. Ping of destiny. Can you gaffer that down, Chris? Now I'm layering figures. Contrast. Ping. And then you would get a sound and you'd say, I like that sound a lot. And there you go. You might do different things with it. And it gives you an idea. The seed of an idea, you see. And next thing you know, you're on the drum kit all afternoon. Hoo hoo hoo. Ah. Oh, how are we going for time? Not too bad. So, what am I talking about tonight? Go with what you've got. And then, while you're going with what you've got, start developing things that you ain't got. Like a stronger left hand, or working different toms, or doing something like trying to work out where to put a cymbal when the band loves it, but you've got to try and put it in an awkward place, you know, that kind of thing. So that's fine for up here. Now all of that with the left hand, I had to develop that up when I bought these. And that gave me a job to do, you see. Something will always give you a new job. You join a new band, and what happens is that, just say the style of the band. I'm going to be in a heavy metal band. What are you going to need? You're going to need double kick. I'm going to join a marching band. You need chops on the snare drum, I tells ya. Jazz band. How about a waltz? Latin. All this sort of business. And everything's going to give you a new skill, you see, no matter where you go. Just even from rock band to rock band. You know, it might be a certain kind of style. I was once in a band a long time ago, pre-COVID, and, you know, one of those typical 30 songs, $30, mate. I mean, I'm trying to make a living here, you know, that kind of thing, and you just get treated like dirt, you know, with, well, you know, that's what it is. I won't go down that track, but you just do. You know, you fight for fair pay. Oh, I wore the wrong T-shirt today. I should have brought the old MA T-shirt out, you know. Workers United. You'll never be defeated, boy. Anyway, there you go. But what I was getting at is that we did 3 gigs. And we did all the same material. And the first gig within the first song, this tiny little venue with nobody in it, as usual. And what happens at the very first song, the drummer's a little bit loud. And I went, don't worry, I just bought a brand new set of brushes today, and I'm going to use I'll do the whole night with brushes. Thank you. You know, take something a bit adverse. What do you mean? That's my style, man. I'll do it all on brushes. Thank you very much. Thank you. That kind of thing. Limitations, you see. And then the second gig, we did it at one of the dive bar ones, and full-blown sticks and everything like that. And then the third one was a little bit of an outdoor thing near a market, and I used brush sticks and the nylons, you know. Some people can call them hot rods. These kind of fellas here, you know. See, as soon as I do that, gives me another flavour. And I'm also cleaning Doris, you see. Or maybe not too much. There you are. What are these called? Broomsticks. There you are. I've got the ones on steroids as well here, if you want to see them. I'm being a bit loose today. Hang on one second. Ooh, look at these fellas. Oh, I've shown you these before. Have a look at them. Ooh. I'll do something with them. How many try to do traditional? Not quite. Stick to match group. So there's another thing. All right, I'm typically a trad group player, and all of a sudden, because I've got these things, these humongous beasts in my hot little hands, you know, I'll just do these with match group, and all of a sudden, I've got a new skill. I've got to build up my match group. There you go, I'll put them back. There it is. All right, I shall wrap the show. I'll put them out there later. So, what am I doing? I'm going to go through my little bullet sheet there. Melody keeps me going. Free up a limb if you can. Melody. your weakness. Left hand. Got these piccolo toms over here. What are you going to do, left hand? Oh, bloody hell, mate. All right, I'll give it a try, mate. We have a conversation often. That's not meant to be sleazy. I better love and leave you. I hope you enjoyed the show. Lots of different things to talk about, and as I said, a couple of different things. A little bit of a summary of some of the things I've been talking about over the last episodes and things, but really just a general chat about taking something fairly straightforward and starting to extrapolate. Oh, bloody swallowed the dictionary. And extrapolate it out of the drum kit, onto the drum kit. So without further ado, I hope you enjoyed the show. And now for a nice glass of